What's going on, boxing fans? Julian Williams here at the distance. Don't mind me right here. I'm just ironing clothes for work tomorrow. But I thought I'd just drop a video for you guys. Been very busy lately. As you can tell, I got black slacks. I'm actually wearing black slacks right now. Pretty much only wear black to work. Practically every day. But change up the colors with the shirts. But anyway, today I had a little bit of time on my hands. And been looking around at the boxing websites, and I watched the Boxing Jay's video yesterday. He talked about, at first in the video, how a lot of guys haven't really been posting videos. I posted quite a few in the last couple weeks or so, but I'm not saying that because my name was not included. But you know, this is actually kind of a response video to him in a way. Talk about these upcoming fights. The month of July is actually a very good month for boxing because there are actually a lot of fights that are happening, that are scheduled, but it's not that I think the problem is a lot of mainstream boxing people, or the people that are in mainstream boxing, feel like some of these fights don't particularly matter. So they really don't get covered, and it's pretty much guys like myself and whoever makes boxing videos. I believe that, and I've always believed this, that we're the true promoters of the sport. Us guys who get on, post videos, get on certain websites and talk about certain fights. I think that that's what gets people interested in the fight. I believe that we do a better job than some of these promoters out here for the sport as far as most of these fights go. And July is actually a pretty good month in boxing. It's a very good month. But unfortunately, some of these fights that I believe are important aren't even being aired. And some of them just isn't getting too much coverage. And not to mention, there's some fights that I guess a lot of people don't particularly care about, and some fights that are just thrown together. One fight that really doesn't mean much to me, that's going to be happening I believe it's going to be happening July 17th, is David Tua versus Monty Barrett. And I'll say this right off the bat before I even make a prediction, that Monty Barrett is a guy that's gotten so many chances and pretty much fought everybody. As far as, a who's who in the heavyweight division, he's practically fought everybody. And then you have fights like, you have one fight that could determine the future of the middleweight division, which is Danny Jacobs versus Dmitry Pirog, I believe is how you pronounce his name. Pirog. That's a very good fight. It's going to be on the undercard of Diaz Marquez, so be on the lookout for that fight. And I'll tell you how much a lot of these guys pretty much do a good job of promoting, because I made a video about a week or two ago, and I called Marquez versus Diaz the fight that should not be on pay-per-view, and said I'm not going to watch it, but I kind of changed my mind today. Because maybe maybe the undercard is worth it. Because a lot of pay-per-views that I've watched, I'm sorry that I'm stuttering, a lot of the pay-per-views that I watched, Cotto Pacquiao, that one had a decent undercard, but I wasn't the biggest fan of the Mayweather Mosley undercard. There's some good fights on that card, don't get me wrong, but at the same time, I did enjoy seeing what's his name, Saul Alvarez, Canelo. I enjoyed seeing him fight for the first time live, and I believe that was worth it because he could be a future player in the welterweight division. But at the same time, it was like kind of a lack of huge names. You had Daniel Ponce de Leon fighting on that card against Cornelius Locke. But you would think that, for a fight that you've waited for I don't know how many years, they would draw out all the big names and the big guns, for this specific pay-per-view. But unfortunately, that didn't happen. But overall, I guess it was I guess that was the matchup for for the skeptics. So I kind of had a bad taste in my mouth from that specific pay-per-view. But because I just expected better. That's just my opinion. I wanted to come out, wondering, just like with the Cotto Pacquiao pay-per-view. So I guess that kind of let me down. I guess I was expecting a little too much, to say the least. But overall, I may be buying that pay-per-view. I may buy it. Who knows? Because there's some really good fights on that card. I'm really interested in this Rocky Juarez Jorge Linares fight. I'm really interested in that. And then you got Timothy Bradley against Abregu. Fight at welterweight. Seems to be a very interesting fight. And other than that fight, you have, I believe, Mark Milligan's fighting this weekend. And I'll definitely be TiVoing that because I'll be going out of town. Mark Milligan's fighting, and I can't remember the other guys fighting, but the fight that I really want to see this month is going to be Morrell versus Montiel. I'm ready for that fight. That's a fight I'm definitely ready for. I'm ready to see Morrell versus Montiel. I'm ready for that fight. It's going to be on Fox Sports Net on July 17th, I believe. So that's going to be interesting. Juan Manuel Lopez, Bernardo Concepcion. Another good fight. It's going to lead to a fight with Rafael Marquez in September, most likely, which is the plan. So that'll be interesting. So July is a pretty good month, and also Chris John. Chris John is going to be fighting Fernando Saucedo on, I believe, July 27th. I believe it's around that time. 30th, 27th. It's going to be late July. He fights Saucedo. So July is a pretty good month for boxing, if you ask me. August is another good month. We got Tavares Cloud versus Glenn Johnson. Us boxing fans, we've been waiting for that fight for quite a long time. Because we want to see with this fight how much time I have left. 2 minutes. We want to see what kind of ability Tavares Cloud has, and as well we have Devin Alexander versus Andreas Kotelnik. Another interesting bout. So we have that in August. I believe Ji-Hoon Kim is fighting for the IBF gold. I don't even know who he's fighting. So, August, and we got Tomas Adamek versus Michael Grant. I'll just say right off the bat, knockout in probably 2 rounds for Tomas Adamek. So yeah, next month and a half maybe, it's gonna be pretty good for boxing. That's just my opinion. So who's tuning in? It's like this. Don't miss out on these specific fights, because these fights are going to be huge for a hardcore boxing fan such as myself. How much time I have left? About 30 seconds. But anyway, that was Distance, and that was just boxing news. So thanks for watching. Peace.